Start. Hey folks, Gary Goldman here from Fam Solutions. Hope you're keeping well. So I am still at the Customer Connect Expo, and I'm doing the rounds to meet some new friendly faces. And I've met Tushar and Atul from Enthu.ai that I thought I'd do an intro to. And you might think it's a bit odd me being from Mojo-CX talking to people who do the same thing as Mojo-CX, but there's no competitors in this world. We're all collaborators and we're all friends. So before we kick off, I was just wanting to Atul and Tushar to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit more about Enthu.ai and your story. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first, Gary. So I'm Tushar. I'm one of the founders at Enthu.ai. We have been doing this for 4 years now. And by the way, we keep hearing about Mojo-CX from some of our prospects. So
Yes.
thank you for coming by and stopping here. But yeah, great collaboration and looking forward to more.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Atul Grover. Very excited to be here and good to meet Mojo's team.
Yeah.
And I'm been also a co-founder for the company for last study for one year.
Yeah.
And very excited as Gary mentioned that we are competitors, but we're not competitors. We are always looking for collaboration and the partnership together. And let's talk more.
Brilliant. So tell me a little bit about Enthu.ai, what your history is, what the backstory is, and how this has come about as AI-powered QA enthusiast.
So yeah, we started 4 years back, and I have experience in sales contact centers. Right. By the way, I had another SaaS company before starting Enthu.ai, which tanked during COVID. Right, and when I was figuring out what I have to do next,
COVID's got a lot to answer
yeah,
for.
I was one of the casualties in there.
Yeah.
Right. So I was thinking, so I realized there is a big opportunity around auditing of conversations because this process is manual. You talked about there are a lot of companies even in this conference, right, which are doing manual QA. I think probably what 5% of the call centers are still using technology to evaluate conversations, but there is a 95% market which is still open, right? So
Big opportunity.
it's a big opportunity, right? So yeah, that's the opportunity for which both of us are here for, right?
And you are both the co-founders of the business?
I'm one of the original co-founders. Atul joined in later, right? But yeah, we are the
And
co-founders.
Atul, what would you add to that journey? Has it been a smooth ride?
I have a fantastic journey. I worked for large enterprises. In my previous experience, I worked large enterprise customers into sales and account management capacity. But this is very fascinating for me. Startup mode. A lot of new challenges, but very excited. For the things which we are doing in this company as overall.
Yeah.
And
He's lying. It's not a smooth journey, right? It's hell of a ride, but yeah, we are in
It's a
in it
roller
for
coaster.
together,
It's a roller
right?
coaster
It's a
with
roller
you.
coaster. Yeah.
So one of the things when I speak to operational leaders about using AI to audit their QA processes, there's two camps. Some embrace it and love it and think, let's run all of our calls through it. And there's a tranche of people that are skeptical, don't feel like it's accurate, feel like it might be out to cannibalize resource and take jobs from people, and don't really see the benefits of it. If we were to talk to that audience, and obviously that's the market that you're trying to attack,
Absolutely.
what would you say to those people who might be sat in that bubble where they're a little bit skeptical and a little bit dubious?
I think it's the same whenever there is a tectonic shift. Now this AI coming into picture, it's not just a technological shift; it's a tectonic shift, right? Just like computers, just like cell phones, just like cloud, right? It's that moment, right? So I think it's okay. With time, they will understand that AI is not going to take away jobs. It's going to reinvent the processes, right? It's going to reinvent the way they have been working. uh, I think some to an extent they are also right. Maybe AI is not meant for very complex tasks right now, right? But the time will come where AI. I mean, the point is you have to think from a perspective where technology will get 100x better, the costs will go down 100 times. What would happen in that scenario, right? A lot of opportunities would open up, right? Maybe some mission critical works where AI is failing right now, and that's okay. But at least for the contact center space, there's a lot AI can do for you. Right? That's my thought.
And what about yourself, Atul? Do you agree with that?
yeah, I think AI is a journey, as any personal life as well as a professional life. To me, it's a journey as well. It's always the hiccups, always a trust issue. But I think with the time, it will also solve that problem as well. And as Tushar mentioned, it's not there to basically take away their jobs. It's basically to help and complement what they're doing in today's life and maybe more efficient way, and bringing more operational efficiency into the system rather than just say, okay, they're going to take my job away.
Yeah, and you know what? I often think when you look at QA and the history that QA has, it's often seen as you're trying to catch me out and you're trying to catch me doing something wrong, rather than looking at it from a proactive viewpoint, catch you doing it right,
Yeah.
reinforce those behaviors, and expedite the learning so that we can do lots of better things. How does your platform help support that employee engagement shift so that QA is seen as a positive
Yeah.
rather than we're going to audit everything and find out more things that you're not doing right?
I think, see, 80% of QA's time, again, this 80 can be 60 somewhere, can be 80, but 80% of my QA's time, at least for the customers that we serve, before using Enthu.ai, it was going in listening to the calls. What we are saying is save that 80% of the time, right? The system does it for you. Put this time, the QA time, on things that actually matter, which means give coachings, right? Work with your agents, sit with them, tell them how they can improve, rather than just listening to the calls and
And you're listening to calls that probably aren't the relevant calls to be listening to,
right.
so you
You're
can't
not
use them
even,
as a
yeah,
QA score.
you're not even listening to
Yeah.
the right calls, right? First your sampling is incorrect, right? No, I won't say incorrect, but I would say it's not enough,
It's
right?
inaccurate or
It's
it's
inaccurate,
inefficient.
it's inefficient, right? Using AI, you can at least pull out those calls that are relevant. You were before using systems like ours, right? Let's say you were auditing 2 calls a day, right? Using our system, you will also still edit maybe 2 to 10 calls, 5 calls, but those calls would be right? You would focus where it matters. You're not just lost or doing random stuff.
And Atul, what do you think about that perception of QA being a negative? How do we flip that into a more positive and proactive approach?
So I think when we talk to our prospects as well, we basically try to also talk to the people under the floor who are actually struggling with listening to the calls, recording the understanding the conversations. So we find they basically struggle in today's process because they're doing a lot manually. And as I think Tushar mentioned that they are. It's not about picking the random sample; it's about picking all the samples that all the actual conversations which is happening. And what we realized that our customers were struggling in getting the right insight because they're not able to understand the entire conversation process. And that's where I think the AI and the QA or the QA helps, because that will really basically help you to analyze the calls and you can just understand the better insights and see what your customers are talking about, what your agents are talking about, and where you see opportunity for coaching your agents and your customer representatives
Can I
as well.
add more thing here?
Yeah, yeah.
You said AI, losing people losing job because of AI. What we have seen is this is a force multiplier, right? You don't. It's not a force reduction. It's a force multiplier, which means let's say you have 100 agents, 5 QAs on top, not five, but let's say 2 QAs on top of it. When you go from 100 to 200 agents, probably you don't need to hire another 2 folks for QA. You can do the same work using those 2 folks,
Yeah.
right? So think from that
It's creating
perspective.
efficiency, isn't it?
Yeah, it's efficiency, it's not a force. As I said, you don't need to let those 2 or 5 QAs go away. You can put them in better jobs, you can make them supervisors, you can do something else, right? But when you scale, can you use the same workforce without and do better work rather than the same work, right? That's how you have to think about it.
Well,
And
listen,
it's also more about the compliance angle as well.
yeah, I think
All right,
definitely about
that's
compliance and
important
reducing
because
risk.
it's not only about the sales, it's also about the compliance, because a lot of industries are struggling in getting what's the right compliance data they're following, because they're paying huge amount of money if somebody sues them. So that's what I think that the QA helps, because systems helps as well to track everything and flag all those risks which is happening in the conversations. So you talk about any industry, no, it's a vertical, collections industry or any other tech vertical. So it's really helping those QAs and the supervisors to basically help the process smoother.
Well, listen, it's been fabulous chatting to you. I think you've got some really great kit, and I think you've obviously harnessed something really, really well to take it to market and do something fantastic that's going to leave people AI powered with their QA. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much for listening, folks. Take care. See you again.